Matt Sharon, good afternoon. Yes, certainly not a blockbuster day, as one voter registrar put it to me. We are here at the Key Rec Center in downtown Charlottesville, where there's no line right now. We've had sporadic moments where there were a few people in line here for this primary. And here at the Key Rec Center, it is one of the larger turnout locations right now, standing at about 4.9%. Charlottesville's voter registrar is reporting an average turnout right now of 3.7%. That's a little more than 1,100 voters. I'm told that is on par with the 2015 primary, which featured the same three council seats on the ballot. Recreation, Clark, and Carver precincts are showing the most turnout. Meanwhile, in Albemarle County, turnout stands at 1.7%. That's about 1,300 voters. Top precincts there include Pantops, Cale, and Northside.
My generation is getting pretty into politics, I think for good reason, given what happened a few years ago in the presidential election. My community in Woollen Mills is pretty vocal and active in terms of voting and city politics. I've had people from almost every one of these campaigns knock on my door every day for the past 3 weeks, so they've done a really great job of making it so I can't not know about this election.
In the Shenandoah Valley, the voter registrar for Stanton tells me they are averaging between 100 and 125 voters per precinct there. Many localities, though, are still pulling together their turnout numbers. Now, I did also speak with the voter registrar in Orange County. She tells me that the average turnout right now is at about 4%, but Matt, here in the end, she doesn't really expect that number to break 10%.
A portion of Route 250 in Albemarle County is set to close tomorrow. VDOT will close the road to through traffic while it replaces a large pipe located just east of Route 767, that's Tillman Road. The closure is set to start at 10 a.m. tomorrow and should reopen by 4 a.m. Thursday, so keep in mind this will have an impact on the evening rush hour.
VDOT is closely monitoring the weather forecast for this project. Since there's rain in the forecast, we're bringing in additional equipment to work in both lanes at the same time. So it's easier for us to divert traffic so that we can get in there and get this pipe replaced as quickly as possible.
Drivers are advised to use Route 738 to get around the closure. Detour signs are in place.
Steve Sharon, good evening. Sporadic lines here and there, but no major waiting at polling locations in both Albemarle County and where we are here in the city of Charlottesville. A little line forming right now here behind me, but this is really the most we've seen over the course of the day. As one voter registrar told me earlier today, it's really not a blockbuster day for voter turnout. Across the NBC 29 viewing area, voter turnout is hovering anywhere between 5 and 10%, which is low but on par. Charlottesville stands at 9.2%. Albemarle is reporting 4.8% turnout, and Waynesboro is at 9.1%. At the Key Recreation Center here in downtown Charlottesville, younger voters like James Matisse say they are showing up because they want to see change.
I guess I showed up because it feels like a civic duty, but also everybody kind of stands around and shouts about things not changing, and then they don't go out and vote, so nothing's really going to change if we don't try to do something about it.
It's important to vote in a primary because then you have a choice in who's going to be representing you in November.
Affordable housing, education funding, and access to mental health services are just some of the issues driving these voters to the polls here today in Charlottesville. I also did speak with the voter registrar out in Orange County today. Donna Harper says voting has hovered around 4% turnout in Orange County, and she says she does not expect that to go up much as we anticipate the polls to close here in Virginia at 7 o'clock. For now, we are live tonight in downtown Charlottesville. I'm Henry Graff, NBC 29 News.
Democratic and Republican races are underway across Central Virginia and the Shenandoah Valley for state seats, Charlottesville City Council, and other nominations.
Yeah, tonight as the polls set to close, turnout numbers are rolling in as voters tell us what's driving them to the polls. NBC 29's Henry Graff is live at a voting precinct in Charlottesville tonight with more. Hi, Henry.
Casey, Steve, good evening. Yeah, some lines here and there at polling locations across Albemarle County and here in the city of Charlottesville. Just two people in line right now here at the Key Rec Center where we are located. As one voter registrar told me today, this really is not the blockbuster day for voter turnout. No lines and no waiting. It must be a primary election in Central Virginia and the Shenandoah Valley.
I bumped into several folks who just said, oh, there's a primary. Well, yeah, there is.
Across the NBC 29 viewing area, voter turnout is hovering between 5 and 10%, which is low but on par.
My generation is getting pretty into politics.
At the Key Recreation Center in downtown Charlottesville, younger voters like James Mattice say they are showing up because they want to see change.
Yeah, I guess I showed up because it feels like a civic duty, but also everybody kind of stands around and shouts about things not changing, and then they don't go out and vote, so nothing's really going to change if we don't try to do something about it.
Affordable housing, education funding, and access to mental health services are just some of the issues driving these voters to the polls in June to tee up the ballot for this fall.
It's important to vote in a primary because then you have a choice in who's going to be representing you in November.
I was in and out of here in 10 seconds. It didn't take me long. It took me longer to wait at the light and park than it did take me to cast a vote.
And while voting is easy, sometimes it comes down to messaging and which candidates in which races pounded the pavement and knocked on doors to remind voters that there is an actual election today.
I've had people from almost every one of these campaigns knock on my door every day for the past 3 weeks, so they've done a really great job of making it so I can't not know about this election.
Back out here live to put all this into perspective, back in 2015 there was another primary where there were 3 Charlottesville City Council seats up for grabs like there is again this year in the city of Charlottesville. Final voter turnout for that came out to be 12.7%, and Casey, I'm told we are on track to hit that for the city of Charlottesville, around that number, as we get set to close the polls here in Virginia at 7 o'clock tonight.
All right, Henry Graff live in Charlottesville for us tonight. Thank you, Henry.